O doje chanjen telo narodam marva bila chuje gambova du sum sheja kunje marva
Tene tatanda tering hadruchala tanda ladawa tan shinje pa namba niganane tambo ladawa kapsala tene rang semi tela tekar tane niti nguzung tong tawa te tong kapsa ganggu yore son jaitan tene shinje pa kapsala tate tanda teta ta kapsula ya tene ta chitang de du ta tene tanda zunzing no namba na so ba chargi yore de ina ya te tanda tene semge zalanda boda semge tene balanda boji ripi balanda boji imbare la Imbare te yina te ngoma hibala tene tangara trubiga on the shorne korwala tene trumi ripande majup lube tene chap masupanda buchi cho yore te yina ya te tanda uni rongo hibi kapsula somo tana tene rangla yebi yihi te pe kalchewa tong pento chimbo yeba ta tikor te tene ladawa tong hinje ba ni te tanji on de sena galgmare sene temba insare.
This morning we talked about the instructions on getting straight to meditation and the instructions on distinguishing mind from awareness. And so first we had the instructions on getting straight to meditation. This is looking directly at the nature of mind itself. And when we look at it, there is nothing there that we can identify as being anything. And so when we see that, we meditate upon that. Then there are the instructions on distinguishing mind from awareness. And when we look in this way at the mind essence, then there are all the experiences of pain and pleasure, all the experiences of the perceiver and the perceived, all the various things that we see. And these are all like the energy of the mind. They are like the waves in awareness. And so when we do not recognize that, then we are overcome by confusion. And when we are overcome by confusion, then it's as if, as it says here, unconfused awareness has left us here without protection. So we're not able to protect ourselves. We don't feel like it's able to protect us because we haven't recognized it. But when we do recognize our own essence, then we see the benefits we see how the wisdom that is present within ourselves is so important and how helpful it is. And so these are the instructions that we've had on both the getting straight to meditation and on distinguishing mind and awareness. And so in actuality, these instructions are not contradictory.
Tene tate tembate nomba chitum na rangjung ripa kone trenji ne tror ngete tate nga pardola tene rango range tangpo taju majung warela taju chung kapsala rongo ronge mantonga tate la ya jipa ka on to shorwa ta tene ngu mazimpa la soba ta tende yungi yore yung chung ne tanda pardola tene majopa dungan korwale majopa lubare te yina ya nechol la somotana namba cheto na ranjung ripate ngarang la yoarela te yepa la tene ngara dungan le trolwa ta tene ta yi medewa le trolwa ngete ta te troji bare tortu yore mato tene tanda hingin trusem de tsuktup jay na se tene ngarang lon trulbege sem tene rangjung riping wala madrupa re la tene rangjung riping wala madrupa re mato trulbege sem te la hingemba te tangara jipu rit majupa dupo yung chupege sem hingemba hikangemba
시간에 가서 주고
kipo si machuba. Kikangen be Johnson Carrera Sena, kipo si machuba. Dubo nyong chuba, tenen trusenti in Picherna. Hingin trusem the Tsutupji yena, the Uni Tane, Tini Demba, Truba Mahimba, Nimbo Meba Mahimba, Uni Demba Trubaji yena. Tini tusom ji sanji siana ya ngarang dungal li jope ke tap mendula trusem de pong tap jung yo mare la tini trusem de pong tupe ke junsin de kandire siana trusem de ngorang hinji tomba yimba la tini pang tupe yo re.
So then the instructions on why these are not contradictory follow. So from one perspective, it is only through the kindness of self-arisen awareness that our liberation is certain. So up to now, we haven't looked at the nature of the mind. Because we haven't looked at the nature of the mind, we haven't seen it. We have been sort of overcome, or we've been too influenced by inference, and we haven't really identified or recognized the nature of mind. And so because we haven't recognized it, it hasn't been able to protect us. And so that is why up to now it has not protected us from the suffering of samsara. But from another perspective, from one perspective, it is only through the kindness of self-arisen awareness that our liberation is certain. And so if we look at it from the other perspective, the self-arisen awareness is something that we have. It's present within us. And so because it's present within us, it's definite that we can be liberated from all of our sufferings and all of our unhappiness. So we can be liberated from all of these. So if confused mind, our bad character, could be established. So when it says our confused mind, with our confused mind, when we don't realize the self-arisen awareness, when we don't realize that the confused mind itself cannot be established as anything, then that is our bad character. And we call it the bad character because it's what doesn't let us enjoy any happiness. It's what makes us experience suffering. And so if this were something that actually existed, if something that were actually could be definitely existed, then there would be no way that even the victors of the three times, there'd be no way that even the Buddhas of the three times would be able to limit it. But it really has no essence. Because it does not have any essence, all of the confused mind is something that we can eliminate. And the reason we can eliminate it is because its essence is not established as anything.
Tene tatela njurwa natsu njurmi rikpe namjuri imbe na turjurundu ko si. Tene tatanda samla kapkala nyemompa mambo chege yoare kapkala deduga namto mambo chege yoare tatindri njurwa namba kapkala njito la sope no namba natsopa sharge yoare njurwa natsopa nda sharge yoare tanda ngaranso la shargimbare te yinaya te kani yongdege yoare sena njurwa me ripate ta sanje nelu ngola njurwa hito yomare namjuri imbe na turjurundo go tati semje nelu namjurunda boje la shardege yore la tene sharde ba imbe chna namjuri imbe na turjurundo go tene te turju yore perna ngaranso mulam je kapsala tene pe mulam duboje mi tene jai ta kali khabon boje mulam duboje tangna tene mulam duboje nepa chemboje jalgrebesina nepa chemboje jalgmare la tene te nepa chembote mechalwe junsinte ta mulam khurug nowala pe chorwa chembonrabo dubonrabo yoare de yinaya ni sitsana ta te khaya manduwa ngarang kangi khaya manduwa teda ri manduwa sambarabo ji yungi yoare la pe te yendo tanda ngarang sola khorwen chunhong ka sola tene kapkala de du mandawa ta kapkala nyemong ba hyop chembo ta tene kapka la ye me dewa ton jito la soba namba na soba chegi yore te yina yung uni se na te ten trubi nongwa chay mato tenje senyi ke nelu ke ngola te yo mare la ti se na tene pangju yore chorju yore so.
And so it continues, since this variety of changes is an expression of the unchanging awareness, there's a chance for liberation. So when, with this variety of changes, sometimes in our mind we experience the afflictions, they arise very strongly. Sometimes we experience happiness or pleasure. Sometimes we experience fear or various other things. And all of these things that occur, they do happen. They occur, and they're occurring to us now. But where do they come from? They don't come from anywhere other than this unchanging awareness. They come out of the nature of the mind. They're like an expression of the nature of the mind. And because they're an expression of the nature of the mind, there is a chance for liberation. We can liberate ourselves. It's like, for instance, when we have a dream. When you're dreaming, you might have an incredible nightmare, a terrible dream, and have all sorts of problems and difficulties in your dream. And is this something that's really going to harm you seriously? Well, no, it's not. And the reason it's not is because when you're having your dream, then are all these terrible appearances that you see and you experience them. But then when you wake up, it's like, no problem, nothing's wrong, it's okay after all. So they can't hurt you in any way. And so similarly, there are all these confused appearances of pain and pleasure, the experience of the affliction, the experiences of fear, all the different appearances that we see in that are confused appearances. But these are just confused appearances. Other than that, they don't truly exist in the nature of the mind, and so they can be eliminated. There's the chance of liberation.
Tene ta te ta wi imbala tene Chogyam Trungpa te tenzu ge nang la tanda nyemon ba lam de cherwa ta dungha lam de cherwa ta nacha lam de cherwa la so pa song wa re la tene te ya nyemon ba lam de cherwa te la tene ta tanda perna nyemon ba hedang ta bu ji ni tene hedang hyuk chembo ji be ka sala rangwang me panda bo tangarang hedang ga wang ta ga na ma to ngarang hedang de ta se ko gu na yong ko ma ta panda bo ji yung ge yo re te yin na ya ti hedang ti ngo ta hedang ti rang lu ji nang don do kam ya na ti hedang ti ngarang lu ji chelan do kam tene ya na hedang te lunga ye som ka parta twa chelan do yapo che ta na tene hedang te ndende do hedang te le ya na yeb na bon do ge hedang te le ya na khado na bon do ge te na hedang te khaya me ba hedang te uni ji ma ji ya ha ma go wan do kan du ji ndo ha ma go wa kan du ne ndo ha ma go wan do che yo re la ti hedang ngo te tanda dini sun jurwa na su nden jirmi rit nam juri imbe na tai nam rip nam jur je la ti har ge yo re la ti rangin ki yal chopa rangin ji ngo tong ba imba ta tin de yo re la ti ngo te ti na rangin ji chorwa chorjurndo go ta ti hedang te pant ba yo re la ti gen du nyem ban de jo ngajal thodo la so ba khare ji na yo tangarang su dami ji on de siri pa dapu ma ja pa yo na nyem ba tin so be hyo chembo yo re tini rangwang yo ma re nyem ba tin ju go on de hyorgi yo re ti yin na yo chur ka nang do kor ni nyem ba tin ju go ngo la te na tin su ne sa ta ro sa ta je sa tin su hiro yo ma re la ti ngo la te na rangin ki hyo yung yo re la tini ti ser na tini ti ge njurmi rikwi ge nam jur je yimbe chen tini ko rangin ki njurmi rikwi ngo di che hi so na ti te la tin rangin ki trol do yo re.
So this is similar to what is taught in the instructions of Mahamudra as taking the afflictions as the path, or taking pain and illness as the path, taking suffering as the path, and so forth. For example, when we take the afflictions as the path, sometimes we feel the afflictions. Sometimes we feel strong anger. Anger happens with us, and when it's really strong, then it's like we have no control anymore. And it's like we have no choice but to follow after the anger. It's like we can't stop the anger no matter how much we want to do it. But when we look at it, when we look at the essence of the anger itself, then we look to see, well, where is it? Is it inside the body? Is it outside the body? Is it someplace in between? And when we look for the anger someplace, in our body, in our speech, or in our mind, we look for it really carefully. It's like we can't say, "Oh, the anger is right here." We can't find any place that's like that. We might look for a color look for if the anger has a color or if it has a shape. And when we look for that, there's nothing at all that we find. And when we look for it, it's like, well, what's the big deal? What's going on here? We don't know, how is this happening? Where does it come from? Where is it staying? Where is it going? We just don't know that. And so when we look at the essence of the anger, it's like it's here. It's like this variety of the changes. It's like an expression of the unchanging awareness. And so when we look at this this awareness, then we look at the essence of it, and we see that it's just empty by the essence. And when we look at the essence, then we see that then it's just naturally liberated. And so it's similar with all of the other afflictions. It's similar with our greed. It's similar with jealousy, and similar with pride. When they happen, when the afflictions happen, then if we don't actually take care of them and try to take control of them, then they gain control over us, and they're really strong and really powerful, and we're just overcome by the afflictions. But when we turn our attention inside and we look at them to see, well, where is it that they stay? Where are they? Where did they come from? Where do they go to? And we look at them and we can't find anywhere, and they just naturally are subdued. They're an expression of the unchanging awareness. And when we recognize the essence of that unchanging awareness, then the afflictions are just naturally liberated.
Tene ta tige tanda semje kombu kipa tangun ro botela tene tanda ladawa de hinje ba nike tanda de kipa imba de ta namba somje go ni kiparela ta deji sunguje ronjung gripa de ta tenki yorela tene teyon ngo jewa meba ta ngaranso ripi ngo de kande jerese na jewa meba tene kara tau tena ngi chi surse ten zopa chimbo kara ka tawa imba la songar rela ta te tembe sherto chiriyan madrup semni indaka chiriyan charwaye ngansam nyamnyo zumi simi ji chudon dazu ndaka zamke la gojundo go se ta ngaranso ke senji nelu de kande che yore sem senaya ra ta che hibdu chena sem senkin de la tene sem ta rang sarik number che ta nomto senkin de che rakwa ndabota tino ninjo de bandabo che yore yinayang namto yinayang sen yinayang namto gango ndaboje rela ta tela yongtangji ni sauna number hiba chu ji dong number hiba chu chou dong sen jung duji nga chu za ji la su ba ta tinde yewa ta ni kun zum chunong gong de sena yewa cheji yore de yinayang ta nyamni che gong de sena tine te semjung number to ba yinayang semji zal ji sem sari ngo yinayang semji de yendola number hiba chu ji mai nawa na chi number hiba ta tene ij number hiba ta tene kin number hiba la so ba ta sari ngo zong ke la ko gi yore la ti sari ngo de kandi ji yore se na tene ranging ki te trup de bandaboji yore be se na ngaranso somchul la kachel korne ta ka so la samsung ki ye de bandaboji yore de yina ya kan nang do korne ti ta ka so la tene number hipa gong number hipa yinayam ra te yendo tupa yiji number hipa yinayam ra sensung number topa yinayam ra kiriyam madrupa tene kando yo tene uni tadu tela menduwa sambandabo tene kiriyam madrupa semni indaka sendere kiriyam madrupa semni re kando yo madrupa kiriyam menduwa sambandabo yore Tia Mendua Sambandabuti, you are ready in a sulking ripa in Becherna, Chirian Charway, and some new Tinita Tilian, Namto Mandawa, Mother Capsulaya, Tinitanda, number na super charni, Tanya Mombaton, Namto Mandawa, number na super charni, Chian Charni. Tinitela, Chi, Yurdu no, Nongis, Namtola no, La Sopa, Tanyam, Tatil, Noncha, number not open, Chargi Orel, Chirion Charway, and some Yamno, Tating and some tea, Tatinda, Chargi Yapati, Tantangaran, so Nansum to Tongi Ore, La Tati, Tini. Tomba revisina tomba mare chion cerwa madaba kasala nyemombato nantoga nambala harge yore top kasala chensi nusum je nambala harge yore la de charwate chian charwa je yore la chian charsena nguni heptu tena chian charya kanya yo mare ngoron jingi tomba imare.
And so these are the sections on the preliminaries, the gaining certainty in the instructions that destroy the little house of the mind, the instructions on getting straight to meditation, the instructions on distinguishing, and then the instructions on how these two are not contradictory, how they mean the same thing. And then following this, we have the instructions on the actual practice. And the first of the topics on the actual practice is how to generate certainty in the meaning of the view of the unborn, primordially pure essence. And so this is the primordially pure essence. This is looking directly at the how to see the unobscured self-arisen awareness directly. We look at it, and when we look at this self-arisen awareness, then it is something that is unborn. It doesn't come from anywhere. And so the teaching is the verse that reads, "I directly experience this essence of mind itself, not established as anything, but occurring as anything. Like the form of the moon and water that can't be caught by grasping. In just this itself, there is something to be understood." And so when we look at, what is the nature of our mind like? What is the way the nature of our mind is? Well, when we look at whether we call it the mind or whether we look at it in more detail, and when we look at it in more detail, we can see that, well, there's the aspect of the clear awareness of the mind, there's the aspect of all the coarse thoughts that happen in our mind. But when we look at all of the coarse thoughts, then those are just the clear awareness of, then they're just the clear awareness of mind. And that mind is just the essence of the thoughts. And so when we look at it, we can distinguish it and to classify it into being the 6 consciousnesses or the 8 consciousnesses or the 51 mental factors. But all of these are just something, we can only make these differentiations in terms of the confused appearances of samsara. And so in terms of how they actually are, in terms of the way they actually are, the mental factors are nothing other than the energy of the mind. The clear awareness is nothing other than the mind. So then there are the 8 consciousnesses. There's the eye consciousness, the ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, the 6th mental consciousness, the afflicted consciousness, and the ground consciousness. And all of these are just the essence of clear, just merely the essence of clear awareness. And so what is this essence of clear awareness? Is it something that can be established, that we can actually establish and say is true? Well, when we direct our attention outwards, then it does seem as if we have some sort of a real mind. But when we turn our attention inwards and look inwards, then whether we look at the 5 sensory consciousnesses, whether we look at the 6th mental consciousness, whether we look at all of the mental factors and thoughts, then they cannot be established as anything. Not established as anything. You cannot say that they're this. They cannot be truly established as anything. When we look at them, it's like, oh, there's nothing there. That's not anything there. And so they're not established. They're not established as anything, but they're so there's really, it's like there's nothing there at all. But even though they're not established as anything, I directly experience this essence of mind itself, not established as anything, but occurring as anything. But there are these thoughts that occur in the mind, the things that happen in the mind, the appearances of the external objects, the appearance of the mind. There are all these different aspects of appearance to the mind, and they do appear in the mind, but when they can appear as anything. So it's this, it's the essence of the mind that can occur as anything. But when we look at it, we can't find anything. There's nothing there that can be established. But is this just mere emptiness? Is this emptiness just mere nothingness? It's not. It can appear as anything. So in the impure phase, it appears as all the various different thoughts that we have. In the pure phase, it appears to us as the power of wisdom, love, and power. So it can appear as anything. But when we really look at it in detail, there's nothing that can appear. It's all empty. Or the essence is empty, I should say.
Tene ta te tabuge chiriyam matupa imbachila. Chiriyam charwa imbache. Ti ni ta tekala samutana ngalware. Chiyam matu na chiyam char higi yo. Chiyam char na chiyam matupa yin higi yo mare. Yin higi yo mare ti nguni si na ngansam to nyamsu nyoni o ta ti chiyam ma imba. Chiyam charwa rinduga samba. Senji nelu la ta na yungi yo are la. Tene ta ti ge peti ka pare. Peti ka onde te la zumi smi ji chuno dazu daga zanki la ko jundo ko se. Ta namka la dawa kyar ge yo are la. Namka la dawa kyar onde te la ti zuni de choi nondo la kyar ge yo are. Choi nondo la dawe zuni kyar ge yo are. Choi nondo dawe zuni kyar ge yo are be se na dawa ngus kyar yo are la. Dawa ngus tong yo are. Tene dawe ge yep 다웨게 카도 다웨게 넘바 차사 샤르게 요아 예나야 테 라피 게 존나 주야 요아르베스나 주야 요 마레 신지 존나 신야 예베게 다와제 다 다와티 만한 누가 든 냐비가 인선나 냐비야 요아르베스나 존존거지 요아르베스나 주야 요 마레라 무스트나 요 마레 무스 주야 요 마레티 이나요 슬로아메바 우니 드난 통게 요아르베스나 통게 요아레라 베티 겐도 나란수 센지네루 라타나 데네 제리야 마두바르베스나 제야 마두바레 이나요 제용 차르와르베스나 제용 차르와레 티처나 베교도 데라 추농가 다와라 베가바레 다가 잠케라 고준도 고타 텐데 제라 소모타니 검나 야보용 다바용 그래 소
So on the one hand, it's not established as anything. On the other hand, it occurs as anything. And now when we normally think about this, if it doesn't exist, if it's not established as anything and doesn't exist, there's no way it could appear as anything. And if it appears as something, then there's no way it can't be established. There's no way it can't actually exist. It doesn't seem possible to us. But when we look and when we actually directly experience it, then we can say, oh, wow, yeah, it really doesn't exist as anything. It really can appear as anything. And so for an analogy for that, it's given in the 3rd and 4th lines of this stanza. Like a form of the moon and water that can't be caught by grasping, in just this itself there is something to be understood. And so when we, the example is, we have the the moon. It's in the sky. And when the moon is in the sky, then the reflection of the moon appears in water. And it's there. You look at the water, and there's the moon. So is the moon appearing in the water? It does appear in the water. We can actually see it in the water. We can see, oh, it's got the right moon-like shape. It's got a moon-like color. It's the moon. It's appearing in the water. But then we reach out and we try to grasp it, and there's nothing that we can actually catch. We can't grasp onto anything with our hand. So is this reflection of the moon something that we can grab onto, something that we can sort of lasso in for ourselves? There's nothing. There's nothing there that we can grasp. And yet the appearance of the moon is unfailing. It's undeceptive. Do we actually see the appearance of the moon? We do see the appearance of the moon, but we can't catch it in any ways. And similar to that analogy, the essence of the mind, can it be? It's not established as anything. Can it be established as anything? Can it appear as anything? When we look at it, we see it can. At the same time, it can be both. And so, as in the analogy, in just this itself, there is something to be understood. So, if we understand this, we think about it and meditate upon it, then it'll turn out pretty well.
Tene tate kada katawe tena ngipi ngihi jetsulrila tate senji nelu de ngotomba imba la ngotomba yina ngotomba jeng mepe tomba ji ma imba tene namba natsu su harwa imba te tembarela tate tanda ngesum ji tawe ondu sena tene ngaranso nyomnyong yona tene te lame mengo la tene gomna te gomgi yorela 다 지바가 다 온드세나 다 우면리바 통지라 때네 주통지 동니 인바 주통지 동니 인바데야 샘코나 마인바 치 나와이나야 데네 치 노아 통지 좀다 랑힌지 마두고 오동바 인바데 다단다 지바가 온드세나 무슨 통투기 요아르베세나 무슨 통투기 요 말에데 이나야 생지 때는 니히 야보지 제게 요아르라 니히 지바데 tene ngehi de ta tanda nelu yung ta pa to bu zawan da bu chepar jin ta ngehi de tanda parje tanda mohon Rinpoche ge oma jin ge nang to so ngehi chepar jin de njombe yung ge nang yung ge ra jin da bu ji re so tene ti ge ta ngun jin de ji tu ge yo re so ma de la tene te ya ta tanda tene rikpa mandawa ta tela tik total ke rikpa sinkinta tene ta tenri chim tensi sinkinta bo ta tenri chim tensi te ngarang nguma pula pega ne hegi yore la ta ti mambu ke sin nyung yodo tene misal ke teren hyoge menla pula tene ta du tela nguni to zam tene to zam ke ri duga sombata bo jeje tene tik total ke ripate ya ta chitang tanda ngaranso ripi ta tu tela ngupo chidin to trapate demper trupa ina chidin to trapate go yorela chidin to trapate po ni somdo toma ye jume pate yore besina ngupo tangchila tsani yo marela te mepate ta ngarang nguma lakpala pega ne mambo hyubarela tin tela ta ngehi tela tusang hina ngehi chetoba yungi yore teacher na chutang ji toni yembala sungi yorela tini ta te yendo ta chi no anda tangji rakpa madrupa la tin tawa dulting namba yimba tawa dulting ya ranghin ji madrupa yimba te ta tin sang chen ripa ge tini physics la so ba nam ji ta tin de to gi yore si sungi dola ta tin ngarang ki hyupa le jo cheran namba nguso chen chegre ngarang mi hili hindu de ne hyugya kaya yo mare la teacher na chutom ji toni de tena phage yore chi no ate madupa la teni ten thong nong hipa te yul me na hipa te jesi tab yo mare la hipa te rangin ki madupa la tena phage yore te la ngi chebar chin ji che na tini titai ni ngote cheke tene gomna o titnenda yingin duga samba cheke ngi chebar chin ji che toba yungi yo re samba
And so these were the instructions on how to generate the certainty in the meaning of the view of the unborn, primordially pure essence. This is looking at the essence of the nature of the mind and seeing that it is not established as anything, but at the same time, it can appear as anything at all. And so these are instructions in terms of looking at it directly. If you have experience and you have had instructions from a lama, then you can meditate upon those instructions. If you're approaching it through inference and logic, though, then you can use the instructions or the logic from the middle way, the reasoning from the middle way, to come to understand that all phenomena are emptiness. And so it's not just looking at mind, but it's looking at all the external phenomena and seeing that they cannot by their nature be established as anything. They are empty of essence. And so when we do this when we come to this through inference, we do not actually see this, but we develop a really strong certainty within our mind. And through having that strong certainty in our mind, it makes it easier to properly realize the nature of the mind and to fully realize it. It's as Mipham Rinpoche said in his commentary on Shantarakshita's Ornament of the Middle Way. He said that these logics are like the sword of, like Manjushri's sword. They are able to cut the clinging to things cut the clinging to reality. So these are very strong logics and reasonings. There are the many different reasonings. There's the logic of things being neither single nor multiple. There are the logic of the great interdependence. And I've often taught this example of interdependence through the incense sticks, and I think that most of you have probably seen this more than once. And so you've probably all seen this one already, so I don't think it's necessary for me to go through it again today. Similarly, but through understanding this, we can understand that we just sort of ascribe everything based on something else. We sort of, we imagine things based upon each other. And so this is a very powerful logic. Another type of reasoning that we can use is the reasoning of things being neither single nor multiple. If we have something that truly exists, then it's got to be a single thing that truly exists. If it were something that you can break up into 2 or 3 different parts, then there's no way it could actually be a real thing there. And so if there's something that truly exists, it's one solid, real thing there. But when we look at things, then we see that actually there's nothing there. And so in the past, I have often given the example of my hand, and you all have probably seen this example many times as well. But if you think about such examples, you can really get real certainty in this and real understand that everything is emptiness. And then when you realize that everything is, that all the external so we look at all the external appearances, and we see that the gross external appearances cannot be established as anything. And so then we look at them and then see, oh, they're smaller. There are these atoms, and then you look at the atoms, and even they cannot be established as anything. Modern science and physics is really teaching a lot about how things actually are emptiness. And you probably all know far more about that than I do. And so there's no need for me to teach you physics right here. But through following this, then you can actually come to realize that all phenomena are emptiness. And then when you realize that all external appearances are emptiness, well, if there are no external appearances, then how can there be an internal appearing mind? If there's nothing for the mind to, how can there be an internal perceiving mind? If there's nothing for the mind to perceive, how can it be? And so you see that it naturally cannot be established either. And so then you can develop real certainty in that, and you can recognize that. And when you look at this, you, oh yeah, that's really how it is. And you can develop this real certainty. So I think that'll be really helpful.
Tene ta tela ta tende sine gom ta du tela tene umripi ge ta chi chepe ge ngi ta hin chi ne chepe ge chi ne ju ngi chu tang ji dong ni be ge ngi chu tang ji dong ni be ngi de dong ba dong zhong ma yin ba jin yang me ba ma yin ba tene ta ye dang cha wa zhu ba ye dang cha wa sin ken ta ba ta tende song yo wa de la tene detabu ge nelu topa ge ngi deta choja chimbo ta zopa chimbo ge tawe ge tene lami ge dangwa ge ngote na ne senji nelu la tawe ge nyamnyo ti ni de tene take tendul ndoko pata te take tendul yungi yorela o jipa ge tawe tena papati lami mengo ge na ge dangwa tin de la sungu duga toni senki tin de ji ing duga samba jeta toni senki de nyamsu nyon du tela tene senji nelu de nyamsu nyon du tela nyamnyon de tanda umani tembege tene toni te nde ing duga samba rapota tinde jeta pa 다티 좀 구구 요래라 테니 티처나 단다 팅상 다티 로마 체퍼티 mambola 테니 센지네루 모테 톱 칼바상 부총 네 냠뇽지 네 테니 다티 테 단디 갑슬라 컴페르 좀 로마트 다 mambola 티강을데 용기 요래라 테니 티 남 또바데 람 점샤 티 컴페르 든로 마다 바다 틴데 용기 요아래라 티 컴페르 든로 투비게 주진데 칸디지 고그레세나 니히 체버진지 오 방금 파팔루두기 숨베 리비게 nengo 틴 디타인도 숨군두가 섬베 니히 제 산지 점딘데 히라 님군도 예타인도 숨베 테네 조메 다메 테메 로메 리자메 추메 숨게 탄다티 디타인도 숨군두가 섬베 니히 제 제나 니히 테다 냠뇽 티니디 냠도 dorna tinite tangmaga kepaton tutu chimbo tenzolaya ti 냠뇽 cheparchi che trubato patinde chungarela tini chenamba 냠뇽 la chenju tum temba namji jo tetar tsena ti topa ti jilla che topa ti jilla che ne topen dev de ngand churtoba ji yungres batatinde.
So when we're meditating on this, we have this real certainty we can have this real certainty in the reasonings of the middle way. We can really come to realize that this is the way things are. We have certainty in our experience. We have certainty that all phenomena are emptiness. And when we have that certainty that all phenomena are emptiness, it's that the emptiness of all phenomena is not just mere emptiness. It is what is said to be free of the four extremes. It is free of the four eight elaborations and so forth. And so this is the certainty in the nature of things. And this this goes very well. It goes hand in hand with the view of Mahamudra and Dzogchen, with the instructions that the great lamas give to us on looking at the nature of the mind. They go very well together. And so when we have this view that comes through inference, and then we receive the instructions from the Lama, then we think, oh, that's what this emptiness. We have this experience of the emptiness. And when we experience the emptiness, we think, this is what those teachings on Madhyamaka are talking about after all. We can develop that sort of feeling. And that's a sort of experience we need to develop within ourselves. So nowadays, there are a lot of wonderful students who have had the great fortune to meet wonderful lamas who've given them the instructions, the pointing out of the nature of the mind. They have some experience of it, but sometimes there's the problem of not being able to really intensify and increase this experience. It's like there are these glimpses that just sort of flitter by. They flash by and then they're gone. They flash by and then they're gone. They aren't really able to develop them. And so what are the circumstances that we need in order to make that realization really develop and increase? It's that certainty. It's saying, that's what Nagarjuna meant when he said this. This is what the Buddhist meant when he said in the Heart Sutra that there's no form, no sound, no taste, no touch, no feeling, no dharmas. And so when we have that certainty, then on the basis of that we have this certainty, and then the experience comes, and these two, when these two combine, then it's really, then that's what it is that helped all the great scholars and masters of the past. They developed the experience, and then they were able to develop accomplishment. And so there are many of you who have who are very diligent about your practice, and if you can do this, then you will be able to develop this realization within yourselves. And it is definite that you will be able to make the result manifest.
Tene ta tela ya ta tinsanga kapsala pe kalba zangpo hira chong yo re la tene ngarang tonsala ta ngarang huma jidong guja dancho tenji tengo jacho tende la tene chijaga lumba la lebare la di kapsu tene perna tene tanda ndo ta tene tejendo tenju 다 트이 된소 히로 인자리아 인지게토를 예베게 대비 히로 인자리아 요마레 로마솔라 모트 제야 요마레 이 모트 제야 요마레 다티 칸니 칸 합자잖아 대가랑레 데지 인조리가 바텐소 가리 요아레세나 테라와다게 ndor리 니레 다 조리가 반다보다 tene ta tinde raboji yore mato hiran jarya yo marela tinsang ka kapsala tene lozawa chimbo tenju ka karin la tene pe tenju mangbo loban ludrub ginse pe tenju tejendo tanda kempombo de satunse pe tenju cheparjin tenzo tanda tene zai choju njal choju ta tinde yapache ta tejendo shaja chimbu ka dangwa ta zoba chimbu ka mengo ngendru ka mengo ngui ka mengo tenzo njal choju ta tinde yore la tene teya tanda pe mesipe tene lozawa chimbo tenzo karin chimbo ta te zongdo yung mazi nga ta nga ranzu ten jal ju yeba ten pe kalwa zangbo yimbare la tene kalwa zangbo yindu te la te kalwa zangbo te pe je tang ne yapo zai yapo labjong na tene siye na tene topa te la pe pengre tene lozawa chimbo tenzu ge tene pe kawa namba na tsupa ji ni chungare pe na nga ranzu pe kongchin che jongsi yin na ya chu yapo tarare 다 yendaga jitinga panjolonchi jachimbo yorebisena yo marete tombe chuju ondesena zombelenga na antangboda bota tinde tararila te tarwati sukarin tini chungaresena lozawa chimbo no chikarin tini chu lozawa chimbo tenju kandi na resena pe kale tomo da ka kawa tomo chine tate maombe mrabga tandola lula mati sola mati dungala mati tene panjola mati lonche la mati pasine kalita ne chungare la perna marba lozandra boji yina tene jagar la tain som pepare jagar la tain som pep ni konge nyomnyon de je hi song du tel ngorge non de sung du tel tene cho kongal cheshon kande yapa te parul galgu de kale kande goge yapa tene hino tenzo hino tong satong tenzo la japa kande yapa tene rechembo tenzo galdu tel kawata tene poyu kasi iyapa, tene trangar kasi iyapa, tene te yandol tang chimbo tenzo landro di tsawa chimbo kande iyapa, ta tenzo ngu su song undi tela pe zhe kawandabo, ta tende yore la ti mesi legi tanda kashi kepa kashi ki sundi tela marba lozi duyu chi jabe parchi ndolam chi se, marba loza tanga nyongra, tongra, la chimbo gal, tene cho chimbo gal pe kali tomo jade, tingor di song gadu tela, tini jagarta pe pardul me yendo ndrome pe pach o ta tindi sundro to gure so ne ti ndolante chi ka pare se tindi sunking ko yore la teta bu kangal kachi nirunzi ne pe tindi sine tini te kachi nirunzi pa tela te ne ta ngaranzo ya kalwa sangpo chone kong kusi parchi ma songa pe la tendrin hyutop pela chu tenzo dendrin hyutop pel topa tindi chungare la tini len som to pe tela ngalchin parchi ma ndabo kanya majung chongkachi ne drakhachi ne satsana tagare ya chogonon langsana tagare rete yinayo maza pachi yapu si pe topare tini tejen do tinsang loza wa tonji kawa chi tindin joriga parela tini tep tensol pe te ichi ta tepa ta tini te ndamba chimbo ya go ji jinri
So now we're really extremely fortunate. And the way I see it is when I first came to the West in 1978 and 79 and 1980, then, at that time, there just wasn't anything, you wanted a sutra or a treatise or some sort of instructions. There just weren't any available in English. And so, it's just nothing to show to the students for them to look at. It's just any advice that I gave orally, and other than that, there is nothing else. Maybe there are a few sutras that had been translated from the Theravada tradition, but other than that, there really wasn't anything like that. But now, because of the kindness of those great translators, there are many great works that you can read. You can read the treatises of Nagarjuna. You can read the treatises of Shantarakshita. They're all ready. They're ready and waiting for you to read them. The instructions on Mahamudra and Dzogchen are ready and waiting for you to read them. If you want the instructions on the preliminary practices or any of the main practices, the instructions are out there waiting for you. So in this way, it's really the great kindness of the translators. So we're extremely fortunate to be able to read all this. And since we have this good fortune, we have to use this fortune. So you have to study, and you have to study thoroughly and study well. And if you do this, then this will help you really help you develop your realization. And so, actually, the translators often went through a lot of hardships to do this. If we think about it in terms of Tibet, for example, Tibet is some place where the Dharma really spread perfectly. And if we think about Tibet, is it a place that has, any great wealth or any other thing that would make it a wonderful place? It really doesn't. But in terms of the Dharma, it's got its first place. So whose kindness does this come from? This comes from the kindness of the translators who went to such incredible difficulties to get the to get the teachings. They would go and they'd get the teachings, and then the teachings remained for generation upon generation. So the translators went without any regard for their life, without any regard for their body, without any regard for their possessions or any regard for their wealth. They went down to India. For example, Marpa the translator went to India 3 times, and when he later sang of his experience in the song, he talked about how difficult it was to cross a great river, like the river Ganges, or how when you're crossing through a great forest, there would be all these bandits and robbers waiting for you. Or if you're going over the large mountains, there's the dangers of snows and blizzards happening. And so Marpa went. There are all these difficulties and problems, and he went through and he really withstood all of these and forebore all these difficulties. And so, many later scholars said that, because of all these great translators like Marpa the translator going off and going through all of those difficulties to go to India, then it became very easy for us to go because we no longer had to go. The instructions had already gone. He'd gone through the difficulties, and then he brought the instructions back to Tibet. And so he did this. This is how it happened 3 times. And he is in the face of really incredible difficulties, incredible circumstances. He's climbing over mountains and going through across mountain cliffs, and he just slipped once, that would be the end of it. Or if he slipped and fell in that river, that would have been the end of it. But he didn't slip. He didn't fall in the river, and despite all the difficulties, he was able to come back and bring these texts. And so in this way, it's really important. We have these texts that the translators have done, and so it's really important for us to read them.
Tene ta tetardo siena nguni pengrela. Tene tanda tangboti kodak tawa. Tani pati lundup sungur, lundup gambedela. Ichi tensor sungu yorela. Tene teya natsu njudinji semte zalwi Nyingma Lineage babs charwa, Trimi Rikam ko Yimbarandubi, Trudal Yihi di Jopar Reos, Tan Natsu Njuding Semte, Njuding Semse, Namto number Natsu Pantogi Yore, Namto Rakpa Tende Togi Yore, Tatela Naranzo Number Gomba Tarji on the Sena, Duzi Nachitatic some kind of that in the song you are. Duzi Nachitatic Namto Mandawa, gave a Samsung, gave a number to by Untiegi Yorella, me gave a Samsung to Niemon Besel Samsung, Niemon Benonto Untiegi Yore, Yenjuri Yesing Kindabu, the Nick Kapkala Gewarindo Juyapa, Kapkala Megawarindo Juyapa, that in the Namtoya Tiegi Yore, that in the Tamchi, Dambi, Duji, Nacho, Tati, Sangyore. Tinani, that's all. Duji, Nacho, Tati, Ganani, Tene, Chorwatan, Duhi, Niboti, Surlayani, Tene, Tatanda, Soru Pumbotum, Duji, Pumbos, number Nisi, Tepe, Takangala, Hemba Chimbo. Tiniti Nepa Chimbo, Kapkala Nepa Chimbo, Kapkala Pemba Chimbo, that in the Yundu. Dorna Chorwatan, Duhitan, Tininum to Mandawa, number not so batat in the Jundu de la, Tininum to Mambotiegi Yorella, Tininum to Mambotiegi Yorete, not so in Judin, Semti, Salvi, Nimi Sin, Nieji Yorbesin, Kavadu, Chorwa Kavadu, Duhi Kavadu, Samsung Tenzo Kavadu Tiena, Niegamare, Nieji Yomare. Nyaju mepa de kariris in the Korang Nelu Pops Herwa, Tene Tati Nimi Gondo, Yalndo and Raboti, Yungi Yorella, Yalndo and Raboti, Kariris in Trimi Ricomco Yimbaran Dubi, Tene Ricom Ripa sinking the Korang Ngoti Taingrela, the Mani Betombati, Tomba, Tiume Betombati, Younger Vision, Trimi Ricomco in Tinde Mare. Jimmy Riconco senti nelu di Yimbarandubi, Trudali Yihi di Chopper Revo, Tinin Trubatam Travi, Yihi Togi Yorel, Yihi Tige, Tinin Jogre, Tinin Corvatam, Dungaltam, Namtola Sopali, Jogre, Chopper Revo, that Jogre, some Revachi, the Latini, Job Tuge Yorel, the Chopper Revo.
So that's something that is very helpful. So now we have just covered the verse on the view of the primordial purity. And next is the verse on the developing confidence in the meditation on spontaneous presence that has no nature. And so this verse reads, through the search for the mind that moves and thinks in various ways, it appears in the settling of the nature that can't be found. Since that is the stainless seed, the potential that is Buddha nature, I have the hope that wisdom free from confusion might protect me. And so the mind that moves and thinks in various ways, the mind moves and thinks in various ways, and these are our thoughts. And if we look at the thoughts in detail, there are many different thoughts that occur. And if we look at them in terms of the Abhidharma, they're what we call the 51 mental factors. There are the virtuous mental factors, our virtuous thoughts. There are the unvirtuous mental factors, our unvirtuous thoughts. There are the afflictions, the thoughts of the afflictions, and so forth. There are the four changeable mental factors, those that are sometimes virtuous and sometimes unvirtuous. And they're all the different thoughts that happen. And all of these, if we combine them all, they're what we call the 51 mental factors. Now, among the 51 mental factors, there are two. There is feeling and conception that we sort of pull out, and we call them we give them each their own aggregate, the aggregate of feeling and the aggregate of conception. And we do that because we have a lot of really strong attachment to those, and because there's such strong attachment to them, they're often really harmful to us. They can be helpful as well, but often they are harmful. So we have the feeling, we have conception, we have all the other different various sorts of thoughts that happen. And so we have many different types of thoughts that happen. And so when we look for them through the search for the mind that moves and thinks in various ways, we look for them, and when we look for the feeling, or we look for the conceptions, or we look for the thoughts, we can't find them. Where are they? Where is that feeling? Where is that conception? Where are the thoughts? It's like when they appear out of the settling of the mind. And so when we look at the nature of the mind, and it's just like they just naturally disappear. They just disappear, and the reason is because the it's because this is the stainless seed, the potential that is Buddha nature. So the essence of our awareness is this. It's unborn, it's emptiness, and it's not anything at all, yet it can arise as anything. It is the essence of the mind that is the Buddha nature. And so I have the hope that the wisdom free of confusion might protect me. And so there is this unconfused wisdom, and if we realize it, then all of the thoughts of samsara, all the thoughts and all the suffering will just they'll be able to protect us from these. So it has the ability to protect us, and that is why we can have the hope in it.
Tene ta tejendo tanda sunju yije tontra jepa samola tex sungsulte ronjung sami je ripi yenre kenji tomba e melongo ni senba metsul tu yoye ndate nyamba ngande ne toje mayu ta te chitangong de sena te tabu ge senji nelu khorwale jobzi dunghal le jobzi nyemomba le jobarsi bi mengo ripate kabayu ware sena ronjung sami je ripi yenre kenji tomba e melongo la tangarang senji dendo sen kenji long de yene yore de melongo la te yore de inna tanda chunong dawana yin zona sinya me betsulji yepaire yoye ndate nyemba ngande ne toje mayu te thoma meba ni yore ngarampo gu chunchung ka ni yore kadu inna ye te yore de inna ye te ndu te yomare la kashel ko yen no inga ondu son tini ngarang nguni norbu rimbochi rikpa norbu te senji nelu te kandindo matawache senji nelu te ndu matawache tini ta te matawate ngarang deji ge zawate senji nondu yore la te matawate nga nyembanda bochi re nyemba ngande na toje mayu ta tanda partola toje mayu pare la ta te toje hupati kandi kimware sena jisam lama ye hyalchem tartu se tene jisam te jipasam se du jalwa gombe jipa rinzin dai jipa konza nyenkong su jipa se jipasam sunge yore la tene jalwa gombe jipa singente sanje ton chonju semba tamji ji ngu su hyalni sumba mayin na yonta thukla jene menga tenzo chong tangbo tene ta rinzin dai jipa se du tup tenzo la tene ten yondu tel da tsam tene senam ji tsu jachim boso kawa mambo ji perna penchin naro pandabo ji yena tene tanda tombo chutam ji nelu tembe ki chetul tombo kawa mambo ji telopa manjal ne kawa ji telopa njal ne jong kawa ji ta tenzo naro pe namtar nal yore la na naropa telopa njal ne jong kawa ji tene topa ngune de kandi si chi pare sena tene che tanda pardali hiju me ba karire se konge hyabchati tepi chi tela chi dabdu tel tene topa che ba chi la chi be loji ta tende yore la te tavu rinzin dai ji pasi da something o ta ti chuni genelu seni genelu ingenduga gone ziju ye ba tan chenju ye ba tene te tanda konza nyen kongsu jipa ta tene kong tuto tangji ne je undi tene konza nyen kongsu jipa si chegi hyal ne chegi nyen tu je ne dangwa te na undi tela kapndar suna doji nyingbo yi shahi tangwe si shonchu sempa doji nyingbo ke namtro ta anda tanda Chogyam Rinpoche kongke tsawe lama te ta tanda Nyangyon chensi ombo tang Chogyam kontra yenten jansu namba nyi yinpe cherna ta te shonchu sempa doji nyingbo ke kong la tang yungwan rabo che lengi tang yungwan nang yin che chong ne teni ta rinpo la tarba tong tamchin chenpe kompong senken te ta rinpo la tsol ma gupa teni le labu go ne toju ya pata tende sine lenji ji be ye ten tong re so lenji ji be ye te tan tong ju ge rewa jang te to ta tende chung re so yin.
The next verse on the top of page 16 is how the profound is obscured through the conduct of those who have not examined the union of. So it reads, like the face of the self arisen, undefiled awareness, on the surface of the mirror of the clear, pure alaya. It's as if it is there in some manner that can't be grasped. Lunatics like me, though, do not begin to investigate. And so, in general, we have the nature of the mind can protect us from samsara. It can protect us from suffering. It can protect us from the afflictions. There are the instructions and the awareness that can protect us. And where are these? It's present in our mind. It's always been there in the nature of the mind. From the very beginning, it has always been in the nature of the mind. It's like it's in the surface of the alaya, of the clear, pure alaya. It's like the reflection of the moon in the water that cannot be grasped. It is like it is there, and it's right there. And it has always been there. It has been there from beginningless time. It was there when we were little babies. It's there now. It has always been there. It is there, but we have not looked at it. And so because we have not looked, we've been distracted looking outside. And because we are distracted looking outside, we have not seen this jewel of the awareness that is present. We are not looking for it. So we have the root of all our happiness, the cause and the basis for all our happiness is there. It's present, but we aren't looking for it. And because we aren't looking for it, it's like we are lunatics. We're crazy not to look for it. So lunatics like me, though, have not begun to investigate. We haven't begun to examine it. Then next he teaches how to enter the view of the undisputed great perfection, the great valid path of the teacher, which reads, the last testament of the lamas of the three lineages gives a secret sign of the bodhisattva Vajragarbha. So I've cast away the rigors of looking from afar, and I have a hope to see the wisdom that is innate. And so there are the lamas of the three lineages. Now the lamas are of the three lineages are the lama of the thought of the victors, the symbolic lineage of, that's not the lama, it's the lineage of the thought of the victors, the symbolic lineage of the vidyaras, and the oral lineage of individuals. And so the first of these is the lineage of the thought of the victors. And so this is whether the Buddhas actually say something or whether they communicate it between their minds. There's a lineage of the instructions that come down. The second is the symbolic lineage of the Vidyadharas, of those who uphold the view. And so this is for those great masters who through just a mere sign are able to develop realization. They're the ones who have such incredible merit, who've gone through such difficulties and such hardships. Like, for example, Naropa. Naropa, first, he went through incredible difficulties in order to be able to realize the nature of all phenomena. Up until the time that he met Telopa, he went through incredible difficulties. Even after he met Telopa, he went through these incredible trials and difficulties. And then when he finally realized the actual nature of all phenomena is when Telopa said, "You should look for this. You should have been looking like this." And he took off his sandal and whacked him on the forehead. And so that is when he developed the realization. It's through that symbolic presentation. So that sign, through seeing the sign, they realize, this is what the nature of all phenomena is. This is what the nature of the mind. They see this and they know this. The third lineage is the lineage of the lamas. It's one lama giving the instruction from their own mouth into the ear of the next lama, passing it down from one another. And so the last testament of these lamas gives a secret sign of the bodhisattva Vajragarbha. So Mipham Rinpoche's teacher was an emanation of the bodhisattva Vajragarbha. This was Jamyang Khyentse Wangpo. And so through the kindness of Jamyang Khyentse Wangpo and his other teacher, Jamgon Kontrol Yunjin Jia. So it's like Vajra sent him some sort of a message. He like sent him an email and said, here, this is the nature of the mind. It's not far away that you need to look for it. I've cast away the rigors of looking from afar. It's not necessary to look for it for far away. You can look at it in an easy way. It's near, it's easy to see. And so you're able to see this wisdom that is innate. And so, because it's there, we can look and we can see it. We have the hope to see it and the hope to realize it.
Tene Thrangu Rinpoche te zum shona tene Thrangu ta Dzogchen View to cap the program kariri se na chutin charni ta Dzogchen View se tu can't Tidi Sani Naranga Dzogchen View to cap the yogi la Tikasel Dzogchen Goma tene Dzogchen View Kodikna Tindina Dzogchen na yogi la tene Thrangu te zum shoni tene chenamba melam yabo dab naruchi la nyamni yabo naruchi.
So that is enough for this afternoon's session, and I'm not going to give you any chance to ask any questions this afternoon. And the reason that I'm not going to give you any chance to ask any questions this afternoon is because when it's right at the end of the session and I say, do you have any questions, then everyone looks up like, so it's better to give you a little bit of time. I'll give you a chance to ask the questions tomorrow. You can prepare your questions in advance. You can think them through and get your questions ready for tomorrow. So please ask your questions tomorrow. And that is enough for today. So now please do these dedications and aspirations well and do your practice well as well.
So